we go, into a little bit more advanced subjects in the educational part of the shelter. So I wanted to talk about targets. Now, some of you guys will ask, how can we talk about targets if you haven't learned us how to enter a trade? That's actually an excellent question. It's important to understand that before even knowing how to enter in a trade, you need to learn where to get out. And I think it's very more important than actually knowing how to enter, because entering a trade is pretty simple if you've done all your due diligence prior. And we will talk about entries very soon, and you will realize that some of you guys will slam, like you will be literally in stop loss land just because your due diligence aren't done on the chart. Trading is not easy. It's very simple, but it's not easy. You will get induced constantly. So I'm telling you, the more prepared you are, the better it will be when it comes down to taking entries. So I created maybe 2 years ago a protocol that I still use today. Very simple. I call them, there's 3 M's, right? So the minor, the medium, and the major. Target. Okay? What does each and every single one of them do, right? The minor target is always the BE zone, where you are closing your position to BE, break even, right? What does break even mean? When you enter a trade, you have predetermined a stop loss area. Moving your trade to break even means that you move your break even, your stop loss where you entered. That way, if the price reverses on you, you don't lose money. That's basically it. Medium target would be the partial area, where you want to be able to close some of your position to be able to secure some money. Okay. This is my favorite part about trading, is that when you're in a trade, even though you're very far from your take profit, you can literally take money outside of your position, right? I think this is a great feature. And then the final one, the take DP. Okay. So take profit. Those are very important. I want you guys to remember them because I use them every single day. Even today, if you look in my stats, almost all of my trades, when I enter a profitable trade, like it's going in profit, almost 90% of them, I'm able to close partials. Because let's say I'm in shorts here, right? I decide to take a short here, and I see that potentially price can go higher. If I decide to close 25% of my position and then take an SL, I basically still make a little bit of money, right? Depending on the lot size and the commission. But just so you understand that partials are 100% win rate, success rate, whatever. It's 100% certain that when you enter a trade and it goes in your direction and you take partials, it's 100% win rate. This means that you're able to take money whenever you want. And again, this is very hard. Sorry, I'm talking because I think it's very important subjects. This is very hard when it comes down to people trying to pass a challenge. And this is why I hate the prop firm industry. And I really want you guys to be able to trade with real money, is that when you close a position into a challenge, you have to stick to that challenge until you pass it. And closing partials instead of holding it to your maximum TP is very, very hard because you just want to get it over it. And this is why most of people fail, right? That's why I love just trading real money. I can just, if tomorrow I want to buy a new TV for my wife, I just withdraw the money, boom, 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 we buy it, we pay the taxes, and it's done. With a prop firm, it's constantly waiting for your payout, constantly arguing because your trading is too risky, blah, blah, blah. It's all kinds of bullshit just to not pay you. So I got away from the subject. Let's talk about it. So I want to go over, I think that this day was pretty nice. I just saw it. I didn't trade this EG day, but it's very, very nice. And I want to go over it, and I would like to show you where would be the trades I would enter and where you're able to actually take a decision on when it's time to take a partial or BE or even TP. Okay, perfect. Let's go. Coming out of Asia, very, very clear. Again, it's always the same story. Sell side liquidity, right? Here, boom, 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 boom. Okay, you see it. Now, let me just go back here. We have here price starting to make new highs, right? New highs, creating a new structure, right? Even though this is very insignificant structure, you get the idea, okay? Now there's a wick higher. That wick indicates one thing. It's either an inducement or an enticement or whatever, right? Wicks are very, very important. They signify a reversal or a strong reaction. Look, reversal. Here also a reversal from this point. Here, 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 here. Always the same thing. Very, very important. So if we indicate this as being an FBOS, IFBOS, whatever, there's a structural shift. You get it. You guys are professional now. You know it. This hasn't made a new low, so this becomes a IFBOS. Perfect. So now price pushes lower. So now this is where I want you guys to use the trend line to help you with your eyes. If you don't see properly that FBOS, just put that trend line and you see they're closing above this point. If this helps you, fine, right? This is the IFBOS here. And this is the FBOS here, right? Personally, the way I see it, I would just mark a line like this and that's it, right? Pretty clear. This point led to this low. Perfect. Okay. Again, trading again in line with the liquidity. Now, coming out of Asia, we have sell side, induce higher, create an SMT. We can even mark it if you guys want. SMT, we have, right? Clear intention, whatever. Okay. I'm trying to not spend too much time on those things because you guys are all super good. You should know all this. You guys are professional. This is like baby stuff, right? Baby pip stuff. I'm joking. Okay. Now, inducing Asia low. What's the first thing we do when we induce Asia low? We look to the left. What do we have on the left, right? Maybe we have this insignificant structural point. I don't really like it. We have maybe this imbalance. It's not filling this imbalance. Now there's like maybe this decisional zone, completely insignificant. So we have nothing basically. So for us now to be able to want to be involved in a trade, we need to see a valid structural switch, a valid, not an insignificant, remember. And again, I haven't marked the breakout areas, but you guys should be able to see them, right? Here we go. Boom, boom, clear. Stop losses here. Boom, boom, clear, right? Oops. Forgot my little fancy stop loss sign. Clear. So now we're trading in line with the liquidity. We induce low with speed and momentum. There's nothing to the left. Maybe filling this imbalance. Now let's go check also to the left. Okay, there's something here. Structural point equal highs. Is this? Nah. See, it's not valid. So now we just wait, right? So what I would do I would put an alert above these structures. Now price goes higher, right? Creates our first maybe relevant break of structure, maybe not. We don't know. And now price comes back and fills this decisional zone. For me, I'm not going to include that wick. I'll show you in another video why we don't include that wick. But let's go in M1 and see what we have, right? See, pretty clear. And this is like when things gets nice, right? You see it, boom, you have a clear trend, inducing low, mitigating this POI decisional zone. And remember, again, this goes and we're starting to get our feet wet into the entries. You would notice that most of my trades, I don't enter directly from the POI. Oops, this is wrong. I don't enter directly from the POI. I like to see that reaction and they come back, and then I enter this one and I put my stop loss here, right? This is how I trade personally, okay? But let's imagine that you're a professional and you know exactly where to enter because you have a crystal ball. So let's say this is your entry. Where would be, now we need to identify where would be our first target. How we do it? We spot the liquidity, right? We have liquidity here. That's an excellent zone. We have liquidity here. That's an excellent zone. And we do have also liquidity here above Asia high, making also that new low here makes total sense. So we have clear sell side liquidity. We enter this trade. For me, I move to break even very quickly, because the last thing I want is to give money to the market. I don't care. I have the skill to re-enter later, so it's all good. So there's always the targets. Let me just put this here. There's always the targets that you predetermine when you enter the trade. I just burned my whole mouth with my tea. God damn it. Sorry. So for me, I predetermine, first of all, the targets. This, for me, is a very valid partial zone, right? This push led to the significant low. This is an excellent partial zone. The maximum TP is obviously Asia high. We always want to be the most optimistic possible with the with the TP, okay? Now, where would be a break even? For me, always the first structural shift, I wait for a candle closure to confirm if I want to be closing to break even or no. I predetermine the break even, but usually I put the break even manually. So now, example, price plays. Let me just do a bar replay. It's going to be easier. So price moves. This would be my break even area. Okay, this would be like 1, 2, 3. But I don't put Otobi just now because I like to watch the market, what they do. Okay, now they push higher. I don't move to break even. Again, I don't move to break even. I wait. They push one last time. Again. And this is usually where I move to break even. When I see that there's a momentum pushing significantly high, I would move to break even. But since price reverses and comes back, now I move to break even because the purpose is completed. It's very important to never, I repeat, never, put an auto BE at a structural point like this. It's a huge mistake. If you want to take a cruise trip to BE land, this is how you should do it. If you want to be like me, move it a little bit higher. You want to see that full candle closure, that push, and always move to break even with a candle closing above or below a structure. And this is, in that scenario, it's a perfect example. This candle didn't close above. This candle didn't close above. This candle closed below again. This candle close above. You move to break even. I prefer when it comes back, does a pullback, it's perfect. And remember, like if it starts reversing and going up your ass here, then move it to break even. Like it's okay. There's no panic. It's completely okay. I just don't like the auto BE because they can be very, very stupid. Okay, you need to monitor. Put an alert at this line. When it goes above, you wait for that candle closure. If there's a candle closure and that structural point is good, fine. Otherwise, you look to the left. Here, it's also good, right? This push led to that. They faked that equal lows, that SMT, pushing lower. This is also significant liquidity on lower time frame, but you get the idea. Okay, so that would be our sorry, that would be our BE zone. So now let's go back and bring back the chart. So we are break even. So that trade is moved to break even. So the stop loss would be here, right? Perfect. Now we push, we push, we push. This is where it's very important again, okay? We want to see how price reacts to this zone. This is the FBOS, so it's an inducement zone. So we will check if we have a clear POI, right? Again, price reacts. There's no, if this, again, trading is very situational. If this would have been a POI on M1, I would put this as a perfect break even, partial zone just before the POI. But since this is not a POI, I would put it above. Okay, very important, but it's a valid structural point. And always with the partials, always put an auto partial on. I will have a video on explain how to do it, but it's very important that the auto partial needs to always be on. Always. You can do it manually, but if you're trading multiple pairs, it's going to be hard. Okay, I repeat, if you have an inducement zone, an inducement POI, put your partial before the POI because they can mitigate and reverse on your ass. Now, since it's not an inducement POI, it's just an inducement wick, we put it above, right? So let's say you close, for me, I have three partials, 25, 50, 80. Okay, so in this case, I would probably take 50 out. Now, you target Asia high for the maximum TP. Again, this structural point is very good. It's just, I mean, it could be also a partial area here that you can maybe also take partials here. Usually I try to have my partials way before the TP because otherwise at this point, just hold the shit over there, right? It's completely stupid otherwise. And this is how you can build a bulletproof trading system, because basically at the minute that you're break even, you are done. Your job is done. Okay. Again, when you get more advanced, I will show you how to remove your break even to put it back where it was, because you can take potentially a re-entry if you don't want to lose your position. But it's very important that you guys understand that this is a bulletproof system. I use it every day. It works. Okay. So let's continue. Price now, no significant structure. So we cannot account this as a very, very valid false breaker structure. It's just a continuation, as you can see here, 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 here. So perfect. They make a new high. They induce here the liquidity. And this is where things gets very nice. You have liquidity taken here, but you don't really have significant liquidity here because look how they wigged out. So again, we do have maybe a little bit here because of this new high and this new high here. But again, Asia high is not confirmed yet. So that's why it's very kind of annoying because they just wigged out. Okay. So now they come back. Also here, they break and retest, pushing higher, come back again. Here we go. Potentially re-entry. This is more advanced. I will not show you how you can take this trade, but this is the same example, right? Because a lot of people would say, oh, how come this goes here and I tried to take the mitigation and I got induced. And I will soon show you how to get into these trades, these ones, like this. Very, very easy, okay? I'll show you in the future. Now, imagine same thing here. Where is your valid BE and structural point? Again, you look to the left. Do we have something? No. So the most relevant and the most probable TP is where? Here, right? So what do we do? It's a 1 to 4. We're not stupid. We're not going to get involved with this. Excellent question. So the most probable TP needs to be your partial area. So let's say here at this new structural high here, we have that minor BE. This point here, we have our medium target with our partial. And what you want to do is you want to target like the moon, literally the moon. Where are we? You want to target the moon, like let's say this point here. This is what you want to do with your TP, okay? But then this is just to let some breathing room. I don't like to use that term, but I like to have breathing room. And you need to have indication of potential inducement, reversal, or whatever, okay? And as you can see here, we have partial taken. They come back, they push, and they create a break and retest zone, pushing higher, not taking this high, going lower, and just because of that break even zone, that break and retest, I will be TPing at the enticement high, so my TP would become this one. I would just wait until they come back, they push, and they close above this zone. This is a lot of minutes. I know myself when I would go in lower time frame, I would see this here. There's no any type of POI or whatever. When price would come back into the zone, push higher, start choking like this, I would just close manually like this, right? When price would start choking like this, I have no time for this, right? So that would be on 1 to 9, okay? So let's do the same thing now. We have break and retest, pushing higher, enticing them to enter, right? So now where's the liquidity? We have liquidity here, we have liquidity here, and here, right? Breakout, break and retest, breakout that I didn't mark here, sorry, right? And now we have that push here with this high, and we also have this push here, right? Let's not mark it, but you get the idea. Let me see, my tea is still hot. God damn it. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting cold. Cool. So now we have buy side liquidity, no more sell side. So do we have something to the left? Nothing to the left, at least nothing significant. We maybe have these equal highs, kind of, but like they just clearly took the liquidity here with that wick, we can see, and there's nothing. So usually when this happens personally, I just don't really care. So let's close this because it's impossible to take that high. It's impossible, right? So now you have your first structural shift here, right? Very, very maybe a clear false breaker structure, right? Pushes lower, takes this liquidity. Now, so as we just analyze, this is potentially an SMT based on our false breaker structure. The only thing with this first structural shift set is that there's no speed and momentum, right? Now they continue, they push price, right? Takes this liquidity also. Now price creates a new low here, right? Very, very clearly. Now we have also price slowing down at this point, coming back into this zone here, breaking even these guys where we entered our break even. Now we have a reaction. At this point in time, with this new structural low, we know that the structural shift has been created, right? We have now enticement to go get the other liquidity, at least this one. This one doesn't mean it will happen, but this one here. Now, we have a reaction of that break-even area. The first thing you should ring to your bell is go to M1. What do we have on M1? Respecting structure. Oh, maybe another one. This one. God damn, what is this color? Respecting the structure, like the retail's like, right? Oh, 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 oh. Here we go. Structural shift, enticement, speed, momentum. We know this is a red flag. It needs to be monitored to be able to see if we can get a trade. Now, the only problem is here that the only thing that it does is it fills an imbalance. As you can see perfectly, we have that imbalance here perfectly. They fill it. They go into that POI here. Unfortunately, there's no entry. Not for me. It's a little bit too fast for me. I wouldn't be able to enter here, but at least we know that this push here is a fake reaction of this break-even zone. So we know that we can potentially get involved into another trade in the future, right? Now they push lower again, inducing this here. Now we have a structural point created. Here we go. Perfect. So now it's time to find continuation, right? They induce this point here. This point is significant. It led to the new high. Perfect. Vector candle pushing lower, even enticing more buyers, more sellers, more sellers. Let's go. Push, push, push. Again. Now we take this liquidity. There's a release of the elastic band. Now we have this liquidity. We look, what do we have on the left? Okay, we have that decisional that we discussed earlier. Not super significant, most likely an SMT. Perfect. This here, this setup here is exactly the same thing of the break-even pushing here. The fulfillment is potentially not done because we want to get maybe all that liquidity or just choke the price at the time. When they push fast into a POI, right? Come back. I would have an alert here. We have now the break-in retest zone, right? And now what do? Every time we have a potential entry, we go in M1, right? Comes back, break-in retest, break of structure, comes back into that POI. Very, very simple. And now you take the trade because you have the intentions of that SMT that this is completely random, right? And we want to finish the purpose. Because if you look at it, only this and this is where there's liquidity. They're just building a new structure with the break-in retest. So let's add the liquidity here. And where you would enter, you would target this. Where would be your target? Your TP is always at the next enticement zone to confirm the break-in retest V2 or version 2, volume 2, call it whatever. Now, where is your medium, major, minor? Same thing. Structural point here. This is your break-even area. Here, this is potentially the decisional POI. Decisional is very simple. This is the decisional. This is an extreme. The extreme is at the extreme leg. The decisional is the POI that led to a new high, right? This is a decisional. Usually it's for continuation. So now we're taking this here. We enter here. We take BE here. Price comes in here, gives a reaction. Most likely you want to take some partials here. So this is where you do your due diligence. You take partials. At least this is what I would do because you have no indications. Even though we identify that this is completely bullshit, you have no idea if price will have enough liquidity to do this, like this, and maybe go break even you, and then to continue lower, we don't know. Even though the idea is good, take your damn partials. So here, personally, I would take 25% because it's a small setup. 25%. Then there's a reaction. Unfortunately, they don't come back very clearly on the break and retest zone. Otherwise, I would add a position, and your maximum TP is at the next enticement zone. So the moral is to understand that the TP has two things. We either target for the inducement or we target the enticement. So let me show you an example. Here we have equal lows. This you would target the liquidity. So your TP would be the liquidity, right? If, for example, you entered here, right? But also, if you want to trade in line with the liquidity, usually, if, for example, you have equal like this, it induces low. Here we go. Now you enter here, whatever, and your TP would be the next inducement zone, enticement zone, their entry. You take your partial here and you target the moon after, right? And based on your moon TP, you would want to monitor price action and see if there's relevance in the PA, and you can close manually. This isn't rocket science. It's going to be different for each and every single one of your trade. The problem is a lot of people would enter a trade and then they would think where to take the TP. When you do your due diligence on your chart, you need to already know where is the fulfillment being done, right? When we have this buy, and we have this in break and retest pushing higher, pushing here, and start reversing, the first reflex is to look to the left. There's nothing. Like maybe there's something in here. There's nothing. So basically, you cannot guarantee that there's a reversal. And of course, this is the first structural shift. So you think it's an FBOSS. But then the price says something different. Even though you identified this as an FBOSS, price continues. Are you just going to ignore and expect the price to reverse afterwards? The context needs to be important. The new actual PA development gave you another story. So you have that FBOSS here, and then you want to continue. And this is what you need to do. You need to understand that I wouldn't take this, I wouldn't take this, I would just take this, right? But the idea comes from all this, right? And this is what people don't get, is that you cannot guess when it's time to reverse. Take the continuation. Wait until you have more price action development, and wait until you're able to find a proper setup based on the liquidity markups you've done. Because otherwise, how can you target something if you don't know where the liquidity is? In that case, this is very something I use every single day. And I think that what's important is, like, how many of you have failed FTMO challenges, right? I was talking to a student today. He told me he already failed. He was risking 25%. Let's say we ignore the daily drawdown of 5%. To blow his account, you need 40 failed trades. I'm sorry, but if you have like maybe a big over revenge trading style, it's impossible for you to blow an account, right? I mean, on the short term and long term, it's possible. This is, if you risk 0.25, this is 40 times minus 1R. So you've taken 40 R's. This is actually 10%. So you took, if you reverse, you've taken 40 losing trades with minus 1R. So this is the problem with the partial. A lot of people just want to take the maximum TP and show off and be impressed. But like if you close these trades 124, 126, and this one was 122, this is a 1-12. It's very good. Even a 1-4, goddamn, it's almost in that 1-5. This is like the small trades adds up. Focus on winning trades, not on looking fancy. Like what I'm doing with Nasdaq right now, the goal is just to grow that account for fun, and I'm just entering, and just if it does 3 hours, I just close it, right? I'm not trying to look fancy, and when it's time to make money, you can just focus on making money. Take some short trades. It's very easy to get into impulsive trades and like close at 1-3. That's it. The goal is to make money. It's not to look fancy online. For me, I get bored, so I want to challenge myself. But if I really need to like really focus on just performing, I will take smaller trades with bigger stop losses, but at least I'll make the money. So think about it. The compound of those trades are very, very significant when it's time to check how much money you've done. So close, like create you can even create a static rule that at 1-3 you close 25% of your trade. At 1-4 you close 50% of your trade. You will see the money add up in your account, and that's the goal, right? It's to make money. You will make less money, but in a more consistent way, because everyone is able to enter a trade and it goes directly in your profit. Close the damn thing when there's small, even $100, even $1,000, depending on the size of your account. Just close the damn thing, right? It's free money. Take it. What would you spend on that? So this is something I want you guys to start actually practicing. Each and every single target has a reason. So minor is usually the first structural point or the relevant break of structure point. Partials are oftentimes the enticement zone or the next significant liquidity. In this case, it's both. We were targeting the enticement zone and also a potential obstacle because of that inducement POI. And the TP is the most optimistic zone, and just close the damn thing manually if you're not happy about it. Oftentimes my TP never gets hit. Same thing with here. First relevant structural point where you close to break even, you wait until price closes above. In this case, close below very fast. If it comes back, there's a reaction. Take some partials. It's not being a pussy because you want to take some money out of the table. It's the opposite. You are securing your account. Being able to secure money is very, very good when it comes down to take money from investors. They want to see blue. They don't want to see red. They want to see if you're able to take a decision. Like this is literally what, 5 pips. Just take some partials, secure some money. And what's the worst? You will lose maybe 1 hour from that whole setup. We don't care. It's very important that you guys understand this. And the better you can, like if you put too much pressure on becoming a higher risk to reward trader, you will lose money. If you're focusing on making money and growing an account, this is what you want to do. Take the damn partials. It's super important. So I just wanted to do this day because I don't want to spoil a lot of the other days because some of them are tricky, and my goal is for you guys to practice. If I give you all the answers, you're never going to get better. So very important. Minor target is the break-even zone. Medium target is the partials. And major TP is where we close most of our position. So perfect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this call. This is the first maybe pinky toe that we're dipping into the water of entries. You need to master the zones that can potentially reverse or the zones that can potentially be a significant point to move the position to break even. Usually the partial is where we have reversals, and the break even is where we are sure that the price is leaving without us. Break even should not be put as a manual, an automatic BE. Just put it manually, put an alert. And if you want to put it automatic, try to put it higher like I showed you guys, right? Higher. Very, very important. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would see you in Discord. Have a good one. Peace.